Welcome back to our project here on Build in Wisconsin. Now let's head downstairs with Justin Castleman to see a professional solution for a plugged lateral. Hey Justin, what are you looking at?
Well, what we're doing is we're video inspecting this customer's sewer, and we're finding some roots in it.
Some roots? That looks like it's 3/4 full.
Yeah, it's actually blocked quite a bit. This sewer was actually cleaned about 2.5 years ago, and with the dry weather we had last summer, we were concerned about root infiltration and aggressive growth, and we decided to inspect it again, and we're seeing quite a lot of root growth.
So in 2.5 years, I assume it's a 6-inch pipe, has grown that full of roots.
That's correct. This is a 6-inch clay sewer, and this is a joint where the roots have grown through, and they'll grow through from the side and the tops, and they'll hang down just like you see.
Is this a pretty common problem in the Milwaukee area?
Yes, it is. It's a real common problem with homes basically prior to 1970, and this home goes back to about 1930, and in that era, almost all of the sanitary sewers were put in with clay tile.
And is this from a tree that's, say, right next to the existing sewer pipe?
There are a number of trees and bushes on this property. Ironically, we've been on jobs where there's one tree on the property and it's on the far side of the home, and those roots will grow underneath that basement to get to that sanitary sewer.
Boy, isn't Mother Nature wonderful? I mean, a tree will search out the water and it can go that distance, and once it finds just the smallest crack, it can work its way in.
That's correct. It's looking for that water and it's looking for the nutrients, and they will go deep to seek that out.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, obviously this is still flowing. I can see the water flowing through there, so if I'm a homeowner, I might not even know that I have a problem out there. Let's take the situation where I would look down in my basement and it's backing up. What as a homeowner should I do? Because I'm sure you as a professional plumber get these calls.
We do. The first thing we ask the customer when they call when it's backing up is it completely stopped up or is it slowly draining away? They had to have it cleaned before, how often? Then we ask how old the house is. Sometimes the customer will indicate that they've lived there for decades and it's never been a problem before. It's the first time it's ever happened. In those scenarios, to make sure that it's not a problem, say, in the municipal side of the system, we'll ask them to talk to their neighbors and see if their sewers are backing up. And if they are, then we know it's probably the municipal system that's surcharging, but that's pretty rare. In most cases, it's going to be the customer's lateral serving their home.
Okay, so if it is the customer's lateral, you come out, can you stick the camera down there, or do you have to clean it out before you can even inspect it?
If it's completely stopped up, we don't have a choice. We have to clean it first, and after we clean it, we inspect it, and if we need to clean it an additional time, we'll do that as well. If the drain is slowly draining away, we'll wait for it to drain down, and then we'll inspect it to kind of see what we're dealing with. We'd really rather know before we go in with the equipment just kind of what the situation is. And in this case, we can see that this is a partial stoppage and it's a root problem.
To me, this screams volume for preventative maintenance. I mean, if I'm a homeowner in the area, I want to send a camera down there once every couple of years just to see if this is happening. But you make it sound relatively easy. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to clean out the tree roots and it's done. But I know it takes a lot of time to do it correctly. You have to be an experienced professional so you don't do any more damage to the pipe underground. But almost more importantly, you have to have the right equipment. Beginning with this, it looks to be a very expensive, not only camera, but DVD recorder as well.
That's correct. The camera is really critical because what it does is it allows us to prove what's wrong and prove that we've cleaned it properly. Before the cameras came out 20 years ago, we were taking really an educated guess. We would step the sewer off or measure it off, and we'd run that sewer the distance we thought we had to run. And now we're realizing that as we run our cameras out there, we're marking off footages, and we're realizing a lot of times we were wrong. So it is critical that we prove that that sewer is clean with this camera.
Yeah, just from a homeowner standpoint, I love to see that. Seeing is believing. I also see this as a recorder. Probably important to not only be a camera, but be able to record it onto a DVD as well?
That's correct. This is a DVD burner in it, and what we'll do is we will record as we're doing our inspection, the whole process, and when the job's all done, we'll burn a copy for the customer.
Yeah, the ultimate in peace of mind, that's for sure. Okay, so you want to get a trained professional, very experienced, that has the right equipment starting with the camera. What are the other pieces of equipment that make your job easier?
Well, let me show you the machine and some of the cutters that we're going to use. Here's two very common cutters. This happens to be a 4-inch cone bit, and this cutter works very well, but only in the right size pipe. And we have a piece of 4-inch here, And when that cutter spins around inside that pipe, it does a pretty good job of cleaning the full diameter of that pipe.
But these aren't 4-inch pipes that are running out to the street.
That's correct. We happen to know that this is 6-inch clay, so we need a different piece of equipment in order to clean this properly. And this happens to be a 6-inch expanding head. It goes down to 4-inch because we have a 4-inch cleanout, but then the sewer opens up to 6-inch.
Oh, and it's spring-loaded in there, I see.
So it'll go into that 4-inch pipe, and it'll clean that 4-inch just fine, but then when we reach that 6-inch, it springs open. And as it spins, we're able to fully clean the inside diameter of that pipe.
Oh boy, is that ever nice. And as a consumer, I guess when I'm shopping around looking for a professional to clean out my drain, I should ask if they have a 6-inch cutting tool, correct?
That's correct. When you're calling around asking for contractors to do this process for you, you want to make sure that they have a camera so that they can prove that it's clean. You want to make sure that they have the right equipment. So if you suspect you have 6-inch pipe, you can't clean 6-inch pipe out with a 4-inch cutter. It just doesn't work.
After all, you take that 4-inch cutter and stick it in here. Look at that. That's really all that you're getting. It's just the bottom of it. And the roots, as you just mentioned, grow from the top down. So it's really just a stopgap measure for maybe 6 months that it might work, if
that. Cleaning through 6-inch with a 4-inch cutter, all it really does is get the bottom 2/3 of the pipe. It'll push away things that have built up on the roots, but it doesn't actually remove the roots.
Okay, what are these cutting devices attached to?
What we have is a cable, and these are 15-foot sections of what they call 1.25-inch cable. The cable goes through the machine, the cutter goes on it, and we start feeding it out. And this machine we feed by hand.
And that looks like it's relatively old.
Well, this is one of the original style drain cleaning machines that Rigid came out with. Today they have a lot of drum machines, but this machine, what it does is it allows us to really feel what's going on. I can feel joints. If I bite into a joint, I can actually sit on that joint and clean extra amount of time if necessary until it feels proper. And as we're going out, we can feel everything as we're going with the unit.
That's the voice of an experienced professional. So you're actually, I see you have the gloves on, you're feeding it by hand, and just your experience tells you what you're hitting, what you're cutting through as you're going, rather than just automatically, hey, send it down there and assume that the machine itself is going to know what to do.
That's correct. So as we're going out, the machine is spinning it, we're feeding in by hand. As we're feeling things happening, we continue to clean as necessary, and then as we're done, or when we think we've reached the distance of the sewer, we will actually start pulling back, and as we're pulling back, we're cleaning also. So we really clean it twice, out and back.
And at the end of it, you get to send the camera back down through to prove that it's a thorough job and the homeowner won't have to worry. Can we get out of your way and follow along the process?
That sounds great.
Well, Justin, by the looks of it, that pipe is remarkably clean. Just what you expected?
Yes, it is. We're pleased with the results. It doesn't always come out this way. Sometimes we have to run this sewer an additional time to make sure we get it into the condition that we want it.
Well, you know what I'm taking out of this is, as a homeowner with a lateral that I own going out to the main, it's my responsibility to maintain it, keep it clean. I'm going to hire a contractor like you that has the right equipment. You've invested, it looks like, thousands of dollars into this equipment, and the proof is in performance. I mean, you were able to show me what the problem was, and then afterwards, what great peace of mind. I know it's been cleaned properly.
The equipment is definitely paramount. I mean, the camera is approximately $11,000 with the locator. It's an expensive investment, but it is a must. It really is. The sewer machine, you know, there's an additional $3,000 to $4,000 very easily. So just this process, you know, we'll invest $15,000 in equipment.
Sure, and then not only that, but as I'm looking here, this is almost out to the main. It almost looks like the pipe's broken there.
Yeah, we've uncovered there's a break here, and you can see it's on the bottom of the pipe because the water is flowing on the bottom. It's what we call the pipe invert. And you can see there's a broken section running from of the bottom third of the pipe, and it's probably 6-8 inches in width.
Pretty common to run into this?
It does happen more often than we'd like to see, but with the older homes with this size material and this type material, the clay, we see an awful lot of shifting, we see an awful lot of cracks, we see an awful lot of broken sections and pieces missing.
And earlier in the show I was talking to Bill Graffin from MMSD, and this is a huge problem in the Milwaukee area because of the infiltration. When you have stormwater runoff, seasonal moisture, it leads to infiltration of that water that really floods the system.
That's correct. Any amount of groundwater that starts coming up, like in the spring or when we have heavy rainfall, that groundwater is going to find the path of least resistance. It's going to leak into this joint and multiple joints and just flow right down the sewer.
And it's really compounded by the fact that there are a lot of older homes here. You're saying that they have these problems, and if everybody starts throwing in 30, 40, 50, 100 gallons of rainwater, it doesn't take long to plug up a 6 or 8 inch water line.
It adds up very quickly, and that's what will overwhelm the system.
Okay, so if this were my house, how are you going to broach the subject with me? What other equipment are you going to be using?
Well, we've made a copy of the sewer for the customer. We burned a DVD. We'll show them the video, we'll show them the break, and we'll locate it outside for them, let them know where it's at.
How are you able to locate it?
Well, we have special equipment that's mated with the camera that allows us to locate where in the yard and what depth it is.
Oh, so it's not very invasive. You can just go out there and without digging up, you'll know exactly.
That's correct.
And the depth as well?
That's correct. Based on the location, we'll make recommendations on either some type of a point repair or possibly relining into the sewer for the customer.
Well, it's great that there are solutions out there, and by taking the next step and fixing it properly, you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping all of us in the community.
That's correct. It's nice to know that this customer wants to do something about this and is concerned about the issues that this sewer is going to cause.
Well, Justin, it's great seeing the solution to the problem. Thanks for letting us follow along the process.
Thank you, Stu. It's been my pleasure.
We're very fortunate in America to have great infrastructure and great plumbing systems, but every once in a while your plumbing system will have a problem. You get a plugged drain, you may have to replace a garbage disposal, you may have to replace a fixture or an appliance. You got to be prepared for those things, even though for the most part we take them for granted. And one of the best things to do if you're a homeowner and you have plumbing in your home, which we all do, you need to think about the fact that someday there's going to be something wrong with it because it's mechanical, and we do things to our plumbing systems that cause them to fail eventually. So one of the things you can do is get to know a plumber before you have an emergency. There's nothing worse than Thanksgiving dinner and your drain's plugged, your toilet doesn't work, and you have an emergency and you don't know who to call. One thing to do is you can call ahead of time. Call some contractors, call a few of them, ask them, how long have you been in business? Are you licensed? How many plumbers do you have? What kind of equipment do you have? Have you done this kind of work? Do you work in my municipality? Those are all important things to understand. If you live in a small town or a big city, who's the most reliable and experienced plumber in your area to do the work that can best serve your needs and understands the permitting and the city process and whatever may be involved in getting that permit and getting the work done timely, efficiently, and most cost effective.